Hello, everybody. Paul Caldwell here. Happy Monday to you and yours. Glad to be here. For those of you here for the first time, this is a weekly Monday chairman's call that I do to give everybody an update on the status of the business of the enterprise of Organo globally. Updates on any circumstances, situations, things that we have going on around the world that people might want to know about. After all, it's a global business. And things in other countries can affect people in other countries. And thanks, Edward, I just see the social media channels just went live as well. So, this gets streamed around the world to lots and lots of people in all the different social media channels. And for those of you that are customers that are here, thank you for being here. The reason you were invited by one of our value distribution partners to be here as a customer is because, first of all, we value your participation in our ecosystem. We value your participation in our enterprise, and we want to say thank you. You get to vote every day with your dollars on where you spend them, where you put your dollars. And we hope that for when you put your money with Organo and you buy our products and you buy our services, that we're delivering value to you. Because I believe that people really appreciate two things big time. One is they appreciate the value of their time and being respectful of the value of their time. And number two, I believe that people want to get as much value for the money that they have as possible. You notice I didn't say people always want tons more money, although I've never heard anybody say they want less. But what I mean by value is I think people, no matter how much money they have, whether it's a little bit or a lot, they typically want to make sure that they're getting good value for that money because whatever it is, I really believe they probably worked really hard for it and smart for it. And so we respect that at Organo. So thanks all of you for being here. We appreciate every bit of our global constituent base. So I think it makes sense to do this every week just to keep everybody up to speed on where your enterprise is, where Organo is at around the world. First of all, I'd like to start off. I have been doing this for a few weeks. Talk about our update you on our COVID response to the pandemic. I know a lot of places it's everything's been opening up nicely. It is refreshing in many respects, certainly from a business point of view. However, I will tell you, I am so proud of all of the Organo regional vice presidents, all of the people in the headquarters, enterprise headquarters. I'm very proud of because the reality is the way that this was managed has turned out to be, I think, better than any of us would have expected. The performance, the commitment, the long enduring hours. A lot of times, it's easy when you're out there on the front line, you don't see what's going on in the back end. But I will tell you, you have so many people that are working for your benefit around the world inside Organo. You have so many people that have kept the doors open, work with the shipping companies, work with logistics, work with the customs in the various countries so that shipments could continue and warehouses could get stocked and inventory could continue to move. In some of the countries where we were really overstocking inventory, like United States, North America, basically, we moved diligently to continue to be able to do that during the time of COVID. And the time, time of COVID is not over. I think that as a globe, as a world, we've overcome much of COVID in so much that the trend globally is down and flattening and all these kinds of words that you hear. And I think COVID only matters to the extent that you don't get it. I think if you get it, it matters in a different way because it simply matters big time, I think, if someone were to contract COVID-19. It's not a very friendly virus, as as all of you know. You know, the world will never know. No one will ever know, I'm sure, from a political perspective in free market economies in places like the United States, maybe the UK, other countries, you know, in Europe and Asia, just all around. It will be a divisive issue. People will use COVID-19 and say, oh, we overreacted and we ruined and we stopped the economy and we ruined people's lives. Well, the economy has been working from a very strong base in the United States anyway. Chances of something like that coming back are excellent. In fact, historically, it's never not happened. So if you're going to put your money on, was it really important to shut down the US economy for this period of time? And there are plenty of people, I'm sure millions of people, that would think, oh man, it was such a waste to shut it down. Okay, that's one perspective. I think that's a little bit of a skewed perspective, as perspectives are. I think it's more in the middle somewhere, frankly. I think the argument could also be made, well, millions of lives were saved because of that lockdown that shut down the economy. You could argue both sides, right? So I think the smart money is on just looking at the facts. The facts are the facts. And the numbers are representation of facts. They're not facts. Numbers are not facts. They represent facts, but they could be skewed as well, as all of us now know, based on what we've been reading and seeing. And we were hearing about the bazillions of people, 500 million people were going to die with this thing and all of that. And, you know, the numbers are nowhere near that. But, you know, it's like minor surgery to me. Minor surgery is only minor if it's not on me. If it's on me, they might call it minor surgery, but to me, it's surgery. Take the word minor out of it. If you're sticking something in my body or whatever, it's not minor anymore to me. So it's a very personal thing. And this COVID-19 has become a very local thing. It always was from the beginning around the world. I mean, governments, national governments made these big rules and so on and so forth around it. And then the, then you had your provincial rules and in the US state rules. And then it got very localized with localized rules, cities and towns having their own rule sets and how things could happen and how things got done and what the rules were to administer and manage COVID-19 in local communities. We work really hard at Organo at the local level to make sure that we can continue to function and operate the business. I think our business continuity plan is super strong. We've cleaned it up, we've revised it, we've tightened it up. We're ready if COVID-19 were to resurge. Organo is ready if that were to happen, so that no matter what, the Organo experience and the Organo opportunity, the continuity of that opportunity, the continuity of this enterprise and of this business stays strong around the world, number one. And number two, that it's built on a base and a foundation of partnership. That means public-private partnership. That means governments and Organo, local governments, provincial governments, county governments, state governments, federal governments, and Organo. And us finding out, okay, what can we do to help? What can we do to help be a part of the solution? And so many of you, thousands of you, responded in such a positive way by donating those masks, the N95s initially, and then the others now. And many of you just continue to do that. It's so fantastic. It's terrific for me to see that. You know, we've had this Bags for Life program. If you don't know what that is, go on the Organo website, look for Bags for Life. You're going to see a program that is designed around being able to get into the communities that we serve, create an opportunity for people to use what would otherwise be trash, vis-a-vis our sachets for our beverage products. And the ladies make beautiful bags and clutches and large bags and handbags, the small bags and whatever, out of these that are absolutely gorgeous. Some not lined, some lined with silk linings, just beautiful stuff. And I'm so proud of that program because it's helped so many people in so many of the communities that we serve generate an additional income stream because we buy those bags from them. We sell those bags at auctions. We sell those bags online. Some of those bags are sold in retail shops in different places around the world. And that money goes back into the people that do that work. So it's a meritocracy type of thing, but it gives people an opportunity in those communities to create an additional income stream for themselves and their families. Very big time project, right? So of course I would expect the organo community that embraces such a terrific project. I would expect the organo community to really light up and get very aggressive very quickly on helping their own communities and the people in need with the PPEs, the respirators, and then at the corporate level, we can step in and do things like donate warehouse space. So those communities where we have warehouse space to donate, or we have office facility space to donate, we could do those kinds of things. So just having these policies in place at Organo where we're able to do these things, we know how we're going to act in any eventuality. We've thought these things through. It's really gone quite well. So thank you to all of those of you in the corporate enterprise. Shannon Hewitson and her global relationship management team ran and continues to run point on all of our communication that's outbound related to COVID. We've not put that into Marcom, so marketing has nothing to do with our COVID-19 or our pandemic messaging, because I just feel like it's inappropriate to market or sell on the back of a global health crisis where people are dying and others are losing loved ones. And it's something we all need to be working to fight, this pandemic and the results and the negative aspects to this pandemic. And then we can turn that around and we can have positive outcomes. And it doesn't lessen the sadness. It doesn't lessen the challenges and the heartache that people feel when you lose someone to something like this, or lose someone for any reason. It's never a pleasant experience, right? So we have to honor the realities of this situation, and it is a big deal. It is someone's minor surgery if they lost a loved one to COVID. The fact of the matter is they lost a loved one. It doesn't matter if it's to COVID or something else. Someone lost a loved one. That's a big deal. That's not a little minor deal. So you can get into the econometrics of it and all these other big numbers, but at Organo, we think a little bit differently than that. Of course, we look at all those econometrics. We understand the econometrics. We understand trade-off values. We understand willingness to pay dynamics. We measure all of these kinds of things because it's important to understand the markets that we serve and all from a business, from an enterprise point of view. I just want you to know that we haven't just laid down now and said, okay, COVID's over. We're done with COVID. That's not the case. We've changed as an enterprise because of COVID. COVID and the lockdowns has helped Organo become a better digital version of itself as an enterprise. Many of you are realizing that. We have double-digit growth in the business, and we have triple-digit growth in some of the markets within the business, month over month over month. And if we keep this up, if you keep this up, and everyone on here works with additional time, energy, and effort invested into your businesses, that's for the distribution partners I'm talking to now. 2020 could very well be your best year as an Organo distribution partner. And the reason for that is the embracing of that reality of becoming a better digital version of ourselves as a company, you becoming better at becoming a better digital version of yourself inside the enterprise and with your business, and not just laying back and saying, I can't do this because I can't do events. We put so many events on, so many more events on in the online space. The energy that's invested into that is terrific. I've been sitting in on some of these. I'm just amazed at how things are going. And so I just want to say thank you very much. Know that we are on top of this with COVID. Know that we understand that when a country import restrictions get more strict, like we had happen a couple of weeks ago in a couple of the markets, we're not going to relent. We continue to push forward. Yeah, maybe it takes 3 days, 5 days, 7 days longer for the products to clear. And then maybe it takes 2, 3, 4 days longer than you're used to getting your products. So you don't get them in 2, 3, 4 days. You get them in 5, 6, 7 days. The reality is you'll get them. And there are these issues, and your customers will get them. And for those of you that are customers on here, know that our commitment to you receiving a high quality product to a high quality standard in a very efficient, effective, clean and safe way is a big deal to me. It's a big deal not just to me, to this entire enterprise and everyone in it. That said, I'm getting questions are coming in about the protests in the United States. You know, before we had the questions on protests in Hong Kong, since we serve that our Asian markets through Hong Kong. Look, here's our take on it. I'm going to be real simple about all this because a lot of it is about race. Is it racially motivated? A lot of it's about the difference between protesters and rioters. A lot of it's about different people's political persuasion or political perspectives and all this. And, you know, Organo is not going to get sucked into any of that as an enterprise and as an ecosystem. We're just not. We're an enterprise and we're an ecosystem made up of many. We are a mixed bag of nuts. We are like a mixed bag of nuts. We have pistachios and cashews. We have peanuts. You know, we have walnuts. We have pecan nuts. We have all kinds of nuts in this bag of nuts. That is our ecosystem and that is our enterprise. You know what? We love all of them. We like all of them. Everybody inside our ecosystem and our enterprise is treated the same. Our system for our distribution partners is based on meritocracy. That means it's based on merit. That means there is no free lunch. That means it takes work. You work for what you earn, and that's it. That's how the program works. That's how the system works. That's how Organo works. And I will assure you that over these last 5 months, Organo has been working like crazy. You folks have been working like crazy. All of us, we have been working like crazy. And is all I can say is, again, thank you, and it's very much appreciated. So we're not going to get into protests. Of course, we always would prefer peaceful protest. Of course, I'm an American. I think that protest is at the core of a democracy. The ability for people to openly speak their beliefs and openly speak what they believe in a peaceful way. When it comes to race, look, I put the human race first. I don't put any race, creed, color first. I don't believe that any judgment should be bestowed upon any race, creed, color, religion. I just think it shouldn't be. I think those are things that people just have. And you know, nobody can control the fact that they were born into a particular race, or that they grew up with parents and a family that have this particular credo in their family, their color, their religions. I mean, we're all products of our environments. And if we don't like it, we can change our environment. We can reinvent ourselves as a human product. So for me, it's really about the human race first. And it's about being kind, and it's about love, and it's about getting out there and being together. It's about being in it, whatever it is, together. Anything else that's divisive, anything that tears things apart, it's despicable to me to watch rioters break into community stores and tear apart a lumber yard, a lumber store that's been in business for, you know, a hardware store that's been in business in somewhere in America for, you know, 70, 80 years, and it gets destroyed and burned down by some rioters. To me, those are just thugs. Those are criminals. They don't get the benefit of all of the goodness that the rest of the human race gets, because they have chosen to be less than what the human race calls for in order to be part of that peaceful coexistence, and not judging on race, creed, color, and religion. Should we judge? In my opinion, should we judge on criminality? I mean, that's why we all live in countries of laws. Of course, we all have laws in our countries. And the reason we have laws is so that we can differentiate and have a peaceful coexistence, and our children and our families can be safe, and our grandparents and as people age and become elderly, that they are able to be taken care of and able to be protected and all of that. So there certainly is a degree of judgment. That's why we have this job called judges that pass judgment on people within a legal system, within a legal framework. For us at Organo in the enterprise, we're colorblind. we're religious, we're not going to get caught up in that. We're not going to judge based on race, creed, color, religion. In any case, it's just not part of it, because we're a mixed bag of nuts, and we all are together. So we are in it to win it, and we are in it together. Is all I want to do is win. That's it. I want to win at the economic level. I want to win at the social level. I want to create more value than we consume as an enterprise. I want to create more value. Did you hear that? And I think if everyone wants to create more value in your life and the lives of other people that you know, you won't go around doing things that are counterproductive to creating value for other people, for taking care of other people, for being kind to other people, for living your life with other people, not on top of other people, not below other, but with other people. It's a much easier, better life if people would simply embrace that. Couple of administrative notes I have here to go over today, real quick here, just a sec. OG Pay. I saw now some of the customers getting OG Pay accounts using their phone numbers as their OG Pay ID number. That's exactly how it works. So kudos to all of you that have started to bring your customers into the OG Pay platform. That is terrific. This week on the 10th, we're going to push some new code. So in just 2 days time, we'll push some new code on Wednesday. And I'll be making, the corporate will be making an announcement. And then next Monday in this call, I'll be talking about some of that new code, but you'll be getting your messages. One of the things I want everybody to do, I'm going to say it again. If you haven't put your customers into a customer account online, in other words, they can log into their own customer back office at Organo, you are missing out. Make sure you do that. We're going to start offering incentives inside those customer accounts for those customers, and that's only going to help your business to grow. So please make sure that as soon as possible, no matter what country you're in, it doesn't matter, you get them into that back office with a customer account so they can benefit from all of these goodies that are soon to come. And one of them is going to be, because they'll be able to use their OG Pay account also to pay for their products, and they'll get some additional benefit back to them when they do that. So please make sure that you're focused on getting your customers and all the distribution partners in your organization into OG Pay accounts. If you're an OG Pay distribution partner, your ID number is the same as your ID number at Organo. Those go together. If it's someone that's not an OG Organo distribution partner, their OG Pay ID number will be their mobile phone number. And then we will have the system link that phone number to their customer ID if they're existing customer. If they're not an existing customer and you want to use OG Pay as a platform to bring people into the ecosystem and then introduce them to the products through some of the inline notifications and things like that, then their mobile phone number becomes their OG Pay number. These have been some of the questions, but thank you very much for all of you that are really understand this, first of all, and secondly, that are really taking the time and moving your customers into online customers and moving your people, the customers and distribution partners onto the OG Pay platform. That's something that I wanted to get through administratively. Also, we're going to begin the process. Will begin for renewals of some of the accounts, and also for some of you, there will be an upgrade if you're a Travala customer. There are going to be some upgrades into the workflow process for Travala and into the auto ships. And this will also feed some of that functionality into a new type of preferred customer program that's soon to come. My last thing to talk about on my admin notes for you is related to the Star Achiever program. Oh my goodness. Some of you are really just hitting home runs with Star Achiever, and congratulations for that, because what I'm seeing now, when I see um, leaders that have 40 and 50 star achievers in their organizations on the 1st of June. So the first day of the month, boom, that many star achievers. And then I'm seeing those star achievers have other star achievers and their numbers. I mean, it's just starting to really take hold, the Star Achiever program. So what are we going to do? Well, we've been working on this new Star Achiever program, which is an extension to the existing program. And that way, nobody will lose anything that you've already built up, but you'll be building up the opportunity to have more value, more high-level, high-end prizes inside Star Achiever, because now we have, for example, we now own this new vertical of travel inside Travala, which we haven't even launched globally yet. We've just done a localized launch with that last year, but we're soon to launch that globally with a major launch that I think everybody here will absolutely love. But Star Achiever will be tied into that. So now certain levels of Star Achiever, you can get package deals like a staycation, 3-day staycation for you and your family. But just get away from the house and maybe drive a couple hours and go to a nice hotel or resort area. And we're extending out a lot of things inside Travala because we know that people haven't been able to travel. They haven't been able to go to hotels. They haven't been able to this and have not been able to that. And we also have the travel insurance on there. But people that are, I think people that are being very smart, that are taking advantage of the Forever Weeks program because it's putting significant money in people's pockets. And number one, and number two, it's allowing for that vacation to be prorated and scheduled out for months and months. Because guess what? Travel's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. It is not going anywhere. In fact, travel is forecasted for 2021 to get right back on the growth trajectory it's been on for the last decade. Every time something like this happens with the global pandemic, it happened with SARS, it happened with so many other things. You're going to see these kind of blips. COVID has been its own unique blip. Granted, COVID has been more substantially disruptive than pretty much anything in modern history in so many ways. However, it's coming back. It's already coming back. The forecasts are already there. I sit on a board. I sit on the conference board. I sit there and listen into those webinars, and also the National Retail Federation. And early last week, I was on there with a group of CEOs from around the United States, but some of the largest retailers in the United States, and really people with great insight and large teams of people to feed data and information. And I would just tell you that things are on the way back globally. So thank you for everything you're doing. And please go ahead and make sure you get your customers in on electronic accounts. Now, I have a new thing that I started for the last 3 weeks. This is my blue sheet. It's my blue sheet. And my blue sheet, Paul's blue sheet is what they're calling it. It's a radar. It's KPIs, basically. For those of you that you're not really business people at the traditional level. KPIs means key performance indicators. These are things that executives look at that help an executive understand the performance indicators in the business. In other words, it's like your car. When your oil needs changing, your oil light flashes or your oil light comes on. If it's time for an engine service, it comes on. If you get a low tire, your flat tire indicator light might come on and let you know which tire is flat. Likewise, if you're operating at peak performance, many cars have an eco indicator in them these days to tell you how efficiently your car is operating, how much fuel you're saving, and how much you're contributing in a positive way to the environment and so forth. So these are the types of things I mean by key performance indicators. So it's been some time. It's taken some time to get all this data in a format that I could start to get some of these numbers in a way that really helped me understand the goings on of the business globally in particular markets. And so what I do is I just pick a few people, depending upon how much time I'm going to have. I think it's really important though. So I try to do 5, 6, 7 people a day from the distribution partner network out there around the world. And then also there are a few people, there's always somebody. I'm telling you, you just don't have an idea because you're not there every day. I am. There are so many people doing wonderful things inside the enterprise at the corporate level, at the corporate enterprise level. And they're working so hard for the ecosystem. They're working so hard for the enterprise, for the overall success. And I like to spotlight them as well. So this is just my chairman's spotlight. And it's starting to be called Paul's Blue Sheet because I keep it on blue paper so I can keep track of it easier, but inside my working notebooks. But anyway, a few people that really, really big time deserve shout outs here. Africa, South Africa, first of all, oh my goodness. The growth there has been multiple triple digit. And that is just flat out continuing into June. But what happens when that happens? Well, new ranks happen, and the people that are driving the business, people that are creating the value are getting the reward because it's a meritocracy. So few people I need to give a shout out to right here. First of all, Nicole, just fantastic work in your organization. There's a new Sapphire in there, Wendy, who I called earlier today. New Sapphire, absolutely doing all the right things. So when I talk about, you've all heard me talk about business. This business is simple. There are basically 3 components to it if you're a distribution partner. There's your activity, your productivity, and then your liquidity. Your liquidity is how you get paid and what you get paid. Your productivity is a result of your activity. So your productivity is either going to be high productivity, which equals the potential to earn more money, or your productivity is going to be low or maybe even non-existent, which is going to mean that your possibility or your potential to achieve liquidity and earn some money is probably also going to be very, very low or non-existent. That's just how it works. So it all really maps back to activity. And you've heard me say many times, those of you that knew probably never have, so I'm going to say it again. Your activity levels have 2 components in and of themselves. It's those 2 components are measure, and correctness. So it's about doing the correct activity in enough measure to matter. So you have to do enough of the right stuff. And that typically means developing good habits. And those good habits are revolved around and will revolve around. If you're going to realize success, those good habits are going to revolve around a consistent pattern of daily revenue producing activity. And revenue producing means revenue producing for the company activity. In other words, to the extent you go out every day and you produce revenue for the company by acquiring new customers, by talking to people about the organo experience and then becoming distribution partners, and likewise gathering more customers, more consumers, and ultimately, eventually, you start to develop this potentially ever-expanding infinite web of consumption that started with you. And it started with your activities because they were correct. And you did them in enough measure to matter. That means if you're the smartest person on the planet and you could go have a 2-minute conversation with someone to create a new customer in your business, but you only do that once a year, just because you're the best at it is not going to matter in this business model. It's not going to matter. I'd rather have you out talking to 100 people a day about becoming new customers for Organo and for your business, and learning how to, and securing 2 or 3 customers out of that whole bunch of people you talk to. That means you probably didn't do a good job a bunch of times because you scared a bunch of people away or whatever. Doesn't matter. You should have learned from that. And you go out and you do it again and again and again. So it's doing the correct things in enough measure to matter. And once you learn the correct way to do these things and the correct way to acquire a new customer, the correct way to share the Organo experience with someone else. So they might inspire to innovative entrepreneurship to become a new distribution partner, the better off you're going to be. So shorten those timelines, shorten those cycles. It's very much like what we've been doing at the enterprise level with our supply chain globally. We've been shortening our supply chain, consolidating and condensing it to make it more effective. And through the effectiveness in our supply chain, we're gaining efficiencies. So we didn't just go look at saving money, because that's never the answer in business. The answer in business is never go save money. It's always about effectiveness, and efficiencies get gained through more effective operations. That means you don't ever look to save money first. You try to be more effective first. And if part of being more effective is doing things and you ultimately end up saving money, that's how you should be saving money in a business. And that applies to you and your business as well. So Nicole, Wendy, thanks for everything you're doing. Aneska, Ruby. Aneska just achieved Ruby in May. Aneska's doing some fantastic things out there. And I got to tell you that of all of the things that are going on out there, the things that I'm seeing when we're talking about these people, I look at Aneska. I talked to Aneska this morning. I called her and I congratulated her on the Ruby. But Wendy doing amazing things. When I talk about Nicole, she's got Carmen and Lariska, 2 new sapphires, right? And that's because they're positioning their businesses correctly to achieve all of these successes. So these are really, really important things. And so South Africa is on fire. Why? Because people stood up and they decided they are going to go build themselves a great sustainable business. And from the corporate level, my spotlight shines on Cornel van de Graan. Again, Cornel is doing so much in such a short period of time that it's inspiring. It inspires me to look at the work that's going in, and the outcomes, and the support for the people, the support for the distribution partners, and the support for the customers. Fantastic work, everybody. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Then we got a few other people here that I want to talk about just for a second. Lilliana Word in, I believe she's in Canada. Yeah, Ontario, Canada. Fantastic. Deanna, brand new sapphire. Deanna has basically on the 30th of May, right at the end of May, one more day left. She got a text from someone, and that particular order put her over for sapphire because she didn't give up all the way to the end of the month. She didn't give up. And so in Toronto, Ontario, or I'm sorry, Ontario, Canada, keep that name in mind, everybody, Lilliana. And you've got the others too. Remember them. You've got Carmen and Wendy, and a couple of upcomers there too. By the way, South Africa, Tanya Lowe, Amy, May, Inskip. I'm watching you. You're on my radar. Haven't hit that sapphire yet, but it looks to me like, man, if the rest of your June looks like the beginning of your June, you'll be sapphires this month. It looks like to me. That's what my chart's telling me, my radar, and it's pretty good. I've got this thing pretty much dialed in. Lilliana Louisa. Now this is a great story too. I mean, she is doing fantastic things out there in California, which has been a shutdown. I mean, hardcore shutdown state, California, with COVID. But listen to this: brand new sapphire, requalified sapphire in May. So sapphire April, sapphire May. Beautiful job, Lilliana. Beautiful job. But check this out. global growth bonus, cycle 1 and cycle 2. Now, why is that important? That's important for all of you to understand, because if you understood the importance, and a lot of people don't, because they just get going and they don't investigate it, and maybe their organizational leadership hasn't done a training on it yet, and they're brand new and they don't really know about it. Look, the global growth bonus was created, and it's new. It's a year and a couple months old, like 15 months old. But the global growth bonus was created so that if someone would work and solve to that, in other words, you work to that goal to achieve the global growth bonus in your first 3 months in the business, it automatically means you're structured, your business is structured for Sapphire and Ruby. Automatically structured, because you can't qualify for the global growth bonus unless you have that structure in place. Lilliana took that story to heart. She's earned the global growth bonus in cycle 1 and cycle 2. You know, that's $5,500. That's $5,500 more US dollars right there that she's earning, right? She's gotten a lifestyle bonus because of it. That's 400 more bucks. I mean, so this becomes a really good financial experience for her. But strategically, and for me, it's more important is that her business is structured so that she's going to be a layup for Ruby if she continues this, if she continues now in her group to continue to build global growth bonus earners and star achievers. My goodness, it's going to be awesome. She's using Zoom. She's using technology. She's become real familiar with it. She started to really get great at it now and doing a lot of it. And that's an important thing, making sure you have your events on your Zooms and they're available to your teams, and you have those meetings and you get this kind of thing going on. So Lilliana, fantastic stuff. I know you're going to keep it up because I know you're on a sprint right now for that Ruby, and also for that cycle 3 global growth bonus. Congratulations, big time on that. We've got Rosa Marie Humani out in Connecticut. Great stuff there. Brand new Sapphire. Her sister, who's with her in the business, is a brand new platinum. Again, doing all of the right things, correct activity and enough of it. They're not lazy. They're doing enough of it. So they know the correct activity. They've gotten really good at the correct activity, and they're doing enough of it to matter. And then a guy in the United Kingdom, Dan Dukes. I keep hearing this name come up, Dan Dukes. And so I looked into it. He popped up on my radar. He popped up on my radar as a requalifier for Sapphire. Dan, congratulations. That's awesome. Requalifying the business at a certain level is important because it means you have a very sustainable business. And people, they don't always requalify like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months like that. Sometimes they qualify for a rank and they advance, and then they fall off a little bit, and then it takes them a month or two and they requalify again, and then again and again, stabilize it, and then they grow from there. I've noticed that across the board, but there is so much of that going on, ladies and gentlemen, right now in the world, that I just got to say it's an awesome thing. Serinda in Laos, I got to tell you, the Laotian people, and through her guidance and principally her leadership and the leadership of her leaders, are a great example to all of Organo of the kinds of successes that can be achieved, that it is possible to move to diamond and on to blue diamond, no matter where you are in the world. And no matter what your goals or objectives are, it is possible. It is being done by other people. And what that's always meant to me, I said earlier on this call, I just want to win. That's all I want to do, is win at what I do. And in this case, I want to win at business, and with this enterprise and with this ecosystem. And you know what? We're gonna keep winning, and we're gonna keep getting more and more and more of these little wins, big win. We'll get a big win every now and then, but it's about a consistent pattern of daily revenue producing activities on a global basis. And that is practiced so well in so many markets. Our Latin American markets, the Mexican, our Mexican distribution partners have been so resilient just across the board in very difficult times because their pickup centers have been closed. All 7 pickup centers around Mexico have been closed, but they recalibrated, they shifted, they were like elastic, a beanstalk, like Amazon says. So they were elastic, but they continued to grow like a beanstalk, but being elastic in the process so that they could continue to move around and be flexible and grow their businesses. Some great stories going to be coming out of Latin America, and are coming out of Latin America. And I will tell you, with the likes of Blanca Satoris and other core leaders in Latin America, mainly Mexico, Bolivia, Peru, some great things going on, and more great things and more markets opening soon in Latin America as well. So thank you to all of you. Next week, I'll have more of you on my radar screen. I only have a limited amount of time here, but get on my radar screen. Get on my blue sheet. You know, I'd love to have you on my blue sheet because I enjoy giving people those calls and talking about what they're doing and hearing about their successes and what they've been doing to succeed. And then more importantly, how they're sharing that with others and helping others succeed. That's an important thing as well. So I see a lot of that going on right now, and it makes me proud. It makes me proud of all of you. It makes me proud of each of you for being on here and for watching this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you investing a little bit of your valuable time with me. All of us, our time is valuable, but there's no more valuable time than the time we spend together, and the time we spend working on things for the good of the enterprise and the betterment of the ecosystem and the betterment of all the communities that we serve as an ecosystem around the world. So with that, I'm going to close out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being on the chairman's call today. I very much appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you and yours here again next week. Look for those announcements. They're on the way. Oh, by the way, I was supposed to say something about that announcement. I forgot. What's called whitelisting. Make sure that you and your customers and your distribution partners in your groups are going into your email systems, Google Mail or Yahoo or wherever it is, and learn how to whitelist URLs. And you'll want to whitelist organogold.com and organoglobal.com. Both of those URLs, please whitelist them, because that ensures that messaging does not go in your trash, or messaging does not go in your spam, get caught up in your spam filter and end up in another folder somewhere or whatever. When you whitelist those URLs, that means when Organo sends you messaging, you're for sure going to get it if it touches your email system. So again, thank you again, everybody, very much for everything. And I look forward again to seeing you same time next week on the chairman's call. Bye-bye.